We see Amphibious as he is swimming through the water, feeling that his goal is nearby. He spots a floating figure in the distance and closes in, grabbing the unconscious form of Magneto and drags him to an island that is far from the Savage Land, hoping that his master survives. We then swap to a laboratory where inside, a woman named Moira confirms to Charles that something had happened to Jean while in space. However, they are now unable to detect any trace of what it was when Jean wonders why all the advanced machines couldn't find it. Moira believes that whatever it was hid all traces of itself, and Xavier wonders if they should be concerned. Moira tells them to simply keep an eye out for any reoccurrence. She then goes to ask Jean something after the examination. She asks if Jean really can't recall anything else, and she replies only that she felt out of control and something was experiencing emotions through her. Dropping the conversation, they continue and Jean realizes Moira wants to ask her something. Jean, though, is troubled at learning of another of Charles' secrets, the existence of Muir Island that the others don't know about. Moira says it's necessary as many evil mutants could exploit the knowledge there, and Jean wonders if there aren't more secrets the professor is keeping. On the way home, she asks him, but he refuses to tell her as even though she has mental defenses, he only entrusts her with some of his plans, unlike the other students which have no such defense, and she understands somewhat, though still feels uncomfortable with the deceptions. Returning home, they are greeted by Hank and Scott, and Charles wonders why they aren't monitoring the mansion when they tell him they have detected a new mutant. Switching to Illinois, Ashley's mother is looking for her as she must get ready for the school bus but can't find her. She then spots her coming inside, saying she had something to do outside. Grabbing her stuff, the girl heads to school while the mother notes that she was out in the barn and that the door is still open. Returning to Westchester, Xavier examines the signal and sees the powerful mutant when Scott and Beast point out that it is only miles from where Hank's parents live. Leaving, the professor takes Hank with him. McCoy is thankful that Charles is letting him check on his parents first, as the professor attempts to pinpoint the location of the new mutant when they arrive. His mother comes out and greets them when she learns they're in the area on business. Heading inside, she learns that they're in the area to get another student, and she asks how everything's going for him. Back at the mansion, Scott and Jean are searching for Warren when they think they've found him, but he's surrounded by other signals on Cerebro as they are surprised by Candy Southern's sudden appearance as she relays that she knows who they are. Jean verifies that Candy knows all about them as she explains how Xavier granted her access when she returns to what they were talking about and wants to join them in finding Warren. Switching to the Savage Land, Alex and the others are wondering why Bobby is in the area when they conclude that he must have picked up on the professor's message about the X-Men being in danger. Seeing that he's close, they decide to pick him up. We then turn to Bobby as he notices that Carl begins looking familiar. Lycos chalks it up to simple familiarity instead of recollection, as he knows that if Bobby learns who he is, he would strike as an enemy. Lycos has felt a calm and welcome peace since his exile to the Savage Land as he remembers his battle with the X-Men. He recalls the aftermath of the fight where he fell off the cliff but landed on a ledge, saving him, and he proceeded downwards into the Savage Land while avoiding the teens. Knowing he could live off the dinosaurs, he instead exiles himself to an island as he doesn't want to harm the primitive humans there. Once there, he had found the remains of the German expedition where he adapted some of their machines so he could absorb energy and live. We rejoin Charles and Hank as they arrive at the mutant's home, and Hank notes how seemingly normal it looks from the outside. The professor confesses it might be due to that people fear mutants when he senses that the new mutant might not have manifested their powers yet when they get no answer from the doorbell. Hank then heads around back to check the place and is worried the professor might not have fully recovered from the Xenox battle, as he is warned to be careful. Seeing the toys strewn about, he learns a child lives there as he heads into the barn to investigate. While looking, he notes how the barn could be dangerous to a child when he notices a shadow looming behind him. Back with Jean, she tells Candy that she must wear a costume to hide her identity as she is donning her old uniform. Hearing Candy complain about the costume, Cyclops asks if he can open his eyes to fly the plane again, and Jean asks how much longer to Warren. Telling her about 4 minutes, he wonders why she's wearing her old costume, and she tells him that it's simply comfortable in their hectic lives now. Spotting an old freight ship, they board the vessel, but Jean is unable to detect Warren and wonders if he's really on board. However, Cerebro showed he was at least on the ship at some point as they check the deck, only to find themselves watched by others. Coming out of the shadows are people of various looks as they move in to attack. Seeing that they don't have powers, they are, however, outnumbered when Jean notices that she can't detect them at all, like their minds are closed, as Cyclops notes that they are trying to prevent them access to a certain door. Blasting their way through, Cyclops urges them forward, holding back the people, as Jean starts detecting a familiar presence when they find a white feather that might be Warren's. Spotting a trail of them, they lead to a locked door, and Scott blasts the lock off, telling them to hurry and see if Warren is inside. What they find, though, leaves them shocked. Turning back to the professor, he finds Ashley returning home, and they introduce themselves when he detects that she is the mutant they are looking for. She tells him he can't go inside until her mother gets home, though, when he turns questioningly. Hank has been thrown through the front door, yelling for them to watch out. He tells the professor to get away as the Sentinel bursts its way through the house after him. The machine has finished repairing itself as it detects 3 mutants in the area and grabs Charles. It begins identifying them all as Hank scurries up towards its head, determined to defeat it. However, the Sentinel merely releases a nerve gas on the young hero when someone yells for it to stop. Turning, it identifies Ashley as the last mutant as she yells for it to put the heroes down. Seeing they can't escape, he complies, and she wants to know why it destroyed her house after she helped it. Telling her what it is, he relays the last message he received from Lawrence Trask, the mission of destroying all mutants.